is Kentamori. I'm third year student in the international study. Today, I'm going to talk about my graduation thesis topic, which is racism in the United States, and discuss what can we do to eliminate racism in the United States. This is today's plan. The presentation starts with introduction, literature review, methodology, conclusion, and references. First of all, I'd like to talk about my introduction. In this section, I will talk about why I chose this topic and what I want to know about it. As you know, my topic is racism. I want to know why racism continues to exist today. Also, I will suggest what can we do to disappear racism in the US. Next, I will talk about why I choose this topic. One day in last March, when I was eating breakfast and watching TV as usual, I was shocked to see a news. The news was that African American man named George Floyd was killed by white police officer. When I saw it, I couldn't understand why he had to be killed. The shocking news made me aware that there is still racial problem in the United States today. A few months ago, when I watched soccer game and I saw English club team were uniform that written Black Lives Matter, I saw that this is problem should be solved worldwide level. This experience, in order to solve this question, we need to know origin and history of racism and why it continues to this today, despite various Protestants. Also, Japanese people rarely can experience different culture. That is why there must be many people like me who can understand or wonder about George Floyd's case. That is why I think it is necessary to know about racism of Black people in the US. As I said, problem of racism is not problem only for people in the United States, but problem for everyone in the world. This is international problem that can be solved only by people in the United States. We shouldn't take action to solve it based on this motivation, purpose of this presentation to get your interest in this issue and to give you a chance to consider stop this program. There are too many points in my research, including what racial problems have occurred after Emancipation Proclamation, enactment, civil rights in the United States. What action can we do to eliminate racial discrimination? In my opinion, it is important to understand the racial issue occurred in the United States after Emancipation Proclamation and enactment civil rights. Considering the issue of Black racism in the US, it is necessary to understand what movements have taken place in the past. In the following, I will focus on three movements for an overview. First, from 70s to 19th century, there are abolitionism movement abolish slavery. Also, I will not Although I will not explain detail here, the important event was the abolition of slavery by Southeast Amendment to U.S. Constitution in 1865, after Emancipation Proclamation was issued in 1863. This guaranteed equality. However, despite constitutional equality, social racism continued to exist. For example, Jim Crow law states the prohibit blacks from sitting the seat of whites on bus. In order to solve problem racial discrimination in society, civil rights movement took place from 90s to 80s, 1960s, and Civil Rights Act was finally acted in 1964. In January, enactment Civil Rights Act is considered to have legally solved problem racial discrimination. However, even today, racism against African Americans has not disappeared. One evidence of this that there have been multiple reports of deaths caused by racism in the 2010s. The BLM movement is working to end violence caused by discrimination against African Americans. BLM gained the great detailed attention when I death George Floyd in 2020, which was mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, was reported worldwide. BLM demonstrations were not limited to US, but grew into global demonstration. After this incident, similar incidents were reported. Two of these cases will be discussed here. The first case is Eric Garner, who died 2040 on July 17. Garner was arrested on the streets, allegedly selling cigarettes illegally. Several police officers held Garner on the ground. Large man weighing more 160 kilograms. Mr. Garner's breathing became increasingly ragged and complained that he couldn't breathe. Mr. Garner lost consciousness and died. The second case is Bossam Jean, who died in 2018. A former human police officer mistook her room in the apartment complex for that of Mr. Bossam. She mistook Mr. Bossam for an intruder and killed him with a gun. What these cases have in common, the African Americans are being criminalized, voted caused by their race, and their lives and being taken. It's given that if they killed by black men, they would be acquitted, and it is always assumed to be so. Most people saw the defendant Garner, who murdered Mr. Bossam Jean, would have been acquitted. However, this was different. She was found guilty. This was opportunity includes the police organization. And some famous athletes were working through the SNS to eliminate such racism. tennis player Naomi Osaka prepared 7 masks for US Open. Which of these masks had named victim racism and police violence against black people on it? She said, I regret 7 masks not only enough to spell out the name of many victims. I want to go to the finals and show all the masks. A totally 7 masks includes a totally 7 match includes the final. As she said, she victory interview in the first round. Naomi Osaka made it the final and show all 7 masks. And also the NBA player LeBron boycotted the game was supposed to take place on August 26, 2020, tweeting, "We demand change." Even after NBA players began to follow the Black Lives Matter movement and follow with the wake of George Floyd incident, LeBron consistently took a stance that he could send message by raining, but the boycott may have been one of his messages. In my thesis, I'd like to propose a solution to eliminate racism. In other words, I'd like to propose an effective solution by conducting a survey to answer the research question, what can we do to eliminate racism in the US? Currently, I'm considering what kind of research method should be adapted to study this topic. Therefore, I can't discuss the methodology or results of pilot study in today's presentation, but perhaps one possible answer to research question, what can we do to eliminate racism in the US? We need to change not only United States, but also the international level by including international unity and action. In this connection, I'd like to conclude with quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The greatest tragedy is not the cruelty of evil people, but silence of good people. I hope that this presentation will bring the issue to attention of as many people as possible in this room. This is differences. Thank you for listening.
多分止まってると思うんです。これ大丈夫ですか？